Change the NK to AKRA. AKRA. Mother. I just did a video. We're not going to change the rules. We're not doing anything to the rules. I can. What is going on, everyone? And welcome to Kart 63. My name is Ben. Thank you very much for stopping by. You know the drill. Real quick, if you didn't mind hitting a like on this video, possibly subscribe to the channel if you are brand new to the channel. And if you are brand new to the channel, welcome. This is Kart 63. We talk about all things kart related, all sorts of racing theorem, tires, chassis, everything else. I try and engage with you as much as possible. If you ask a question in the comment section, I always get back to you. So, also, all that thing got me off topic. Kart 63 is brought to you by TrackTac Tire Treatments. TrackTac Tire Treatments, TrackTac Tire Treatments, TrackTac Tire Treatments, treatments for tires and tracks. If you have any questions about the prep line, that is TrackTac. Any questions about the products whatsoever, shoot your guy a question. You can find me on Facebook and everywhere, pretty much everywhere. Also, kart63@gmail.com if you want to get a hold of me that way. All right, so hopefully my little skit worked pretty good at the beginning there. So today the news dropped that AKRA is changing the rules even after Dino Don, is that right? Dino Don said they were not going to make changes for 2025. They dropped AKRA's changes for this year, this coming year in 2025, and let's talk about it for a second here. Okay, the internet is melting down currently on Facebook and everywhere else. People are all sorts of upset. You don't really have to be upset. I'm gonna do my best. That part of this channel, part of my job as the creator of this channel is to try and simplify the complex. And help everybody understand what is going on, whether it be with tires or chassis, or in this case, racing division. So, break it down. Last week I did a video, NKA, their new rules, AKRA, their new rules came out this week. And basically I broke it down. You have NKA, AKRA, and WKA. We still don't know what WKA is going to do. At least I haven't heard as far as rules go. But, so last week I explained that NKA just went ahead and made it so their heads are now ported, which was a limiting factor in whether or not, you know, in a AKRA engine could race an NKA. And I made the statement that, hey, now I can take my AKRA engine and race it at NKA races. I will be, down horsepower. Whether or not the cam makes a difference, it remains to be seen. Some people believe so, some people don't. But that could go that way. So the news that dropped today really, it upset some people, and I can understand why. But let's break down what AKRA did today. So the news dropped that they are going to allow the CL4 cam. They're also going to allow a billet rod. Now, let's go with the CL4 cam right now. This is currently the cam that NKA uses. So NKA and AKRA engines are now equal without the billet rod. We'll talk about the billet rod in a second here. But now anybody that has an AKRA engine with the CL4 cam or without the CL4 cam, as far as I know, that's still, a base cam is still legal per NKA rules. I'm fairly certain anyway, and AKRA as well. So that, what cam you run really depends on you. Now, what does the CL4 cam get you? It gets you more RPM. Now, that was the big kind of to-do that initially Dino Don had written all about this, that when you turn an engine harder, it's going to be harder on the components, therefore causing you to need to rebuild the engine more often. And that's why, initially, when NKA dropped their news about what they're doing to their, ported heads with the CL4 cam, he was alluding to the fact that it was possibly going to cause more damage to the internals of the engine and cause more rebuilds, which was going to be more costly. Now, this is something that, you know, the karting industry definitely doesn't need, is more cost added on to everything. You know, tires are already expensive enough. Chassis are, you know, getting better part of $5,000 a piece. Not all chassis, you know, mind you, but, you know, some of the premier type of chassis, they're getting upwards of $5,000 a piece. So, you know, I know the inflation and everything else, but the rising cost is eventually going to hurt. Now, to counteract this, now I believe this is why AKRA allowed the billet rod. Now, yes, it is an added expense, but one of the weak points of the clone engine, as far as I have been told, I am not an engine builder, first and foremost, but the billet rod allows for that extra RPM to be sustained better without worry about the rod failing. Now, I've had, you know, I read earlier, Lakatus Racing, he says, hey, there's no need for the billet rod, which I agree. Here's what we are now onto. If you can either choose to run the billet rod, and it may be, you know, an added expense, but in the long run, it may not, you know, hurt your crank. It may not come apart. It may not break and do more damage to the engine in the long run. This is a possibility. Have I had people say that, you know, stock rods last just fine, they don't have to worry about them? Yes, I've heard that as well. That's really up to you. So basically, your NKA engine and your AKR engine are exactly the same now, with the exception of you can put a billet rod in the AKRA. Now, that makes it illegal to take to an NKA event right now. What I think would be the smart idea is for NKA to just make that adaptation and go ahead and say, listen, you can put a billet rod in there if you want. I mean, are they overly concerned with the cost of things? Maybe, maybe not. Do I think that everybody is going to go to the billet rod? I'm not. I doubt I'm going to go. As a matter of fact, I may not even change cam. I don't know. It depends what my engine builder tells me. If he thinks that there's really an added benefit to adding the CL4 cam to my engine, maybe I'll absorb that cost. But it really, you know, I get why some people are upset at these changes. First off, you said AKRA said they weren't going to change, and then they went ahead and made these changes. Now, I understand why they made these changes. I think that they did come closer to everybody having a similar engine package. The problem is without NKA going to a billet rod, or accepting like, hey, you can also run a billet rod in our series as well. You're making there's still an illegality between the two series, and maybe it's something they want. Maybe, AKRA doesn't want to be NKA. Maybe NKA doesn't want to be AKRA. I do think we are closer in general. For me, if I don't change anything, this year I just work on my clutch, if I just put some springs in my engines, I can run my AKRA engine in NKA events should I choose to do so, and vice versa. They can come up, obviously. If they don't change the billet rod thing, everything should be technically, as far as I know, this is, unless somebody clarifies, they can take their NKA engine and come up and race any AKRA event. Now, they'll be running against possibly some billet rods. This is not a performance issue. The whole billet rod thing is not a performance issue. It is more a longevity thing and a cost thing. So that's where, some people are getting their panties in a bunch over the cost thing, and I totally understand, because karts are expensive, tires are expensive, rotating tire supplies are expensive, prep is expensive. Everything involved in racing is going to be expensive. I mean, if you don't want to spend money, don't have a hobby, and especially don't have a racing hobby, I guess. I'm not saying that, that this is all good and all is right in the world or anything. I just thought I'd get on here and try my best to explain why I think that maybe AKRA went to this. I understand why they went and added the billet rod. I think what would be the best for the kart racer is for NKA to just make that adjustment, say billet rods are allowed. That's all they have to say. You can either run one or not. Some people, such as myself, chances are I'm probably not putting a billet rod in there. They they are an added expense unless I fall into a pile of money. I'm just as broke as you guys. I'm not going to be adding that onto the thing. Whether or not, if I go out and all of a sudden, my standard cam is not getting the job done and the CL4 cam is whooping me, getting up off the corners, I may make that adjustment. But I can see both sides. I do think, honestly, we're a little bit closer than we were before. It's just that billet rod thing really kind of threw a wrench in the works. Had AKRA just came out and said today, we are allowing the CL4 cam, and that's it. And then boom, now you have extraordinarily similar, if not the exact same engine rules between NKA and AKRA. That would have been fantastic. It's that billet thing that's really kind of turning things upside down. Now the AKRA guys are going to want that new cam. They're also going to want to add the billet. It's just keep in mind, if you do these two things that are completely AKRA allowed, that billet rod makes you illegal in AKA as of right now. I think that cooler heads should prevail. They just need to change that verbiage. And then that, but it's an added cost. I know, me just saying that it means a hill of beans to anybody. I want all the engine packages to be on the same page. I really do, because it sucks. I come from UAS. No matter where I go in this country, I have the exact same rule book. Now, we blend 4-strokes with 2-strokes, with Wankels, with twin engines, with whatever you can think. But we have the same rule book. I can take this cart sitting right here to my left, and I can go to California tomorrow. I can go to Washington State. I can go to Illinois. I can go to Florida. Anywhere in the country and race a UAS event and have the same rule package. I don't fear for being disqualified for some silly little things such as a billet rod in an engine. I think cooler head should prevail. NKA just, who am I to tell you guys anything? I don't mean a hill of beans to you, but if they just change that verbiage, like, hey, billet rods are allowed now, then all good. Your AKRA events are good for NKA good for AKRA. Do you know how hard it is to say AKRA really, really fast? Anyway, this is all the buzz and all the I've been reading a little bit, on Facebook and what have you, and trying to absorb some opinions, and this is my opinion on it. This is, I just thought, like I said, I try and make the complex a little simpler. I don't know that I'm very good at it, but that's just it. So there you are, guys. Right now, and we still, like WKA, still up in the air. Where I don't know where they're going to go with their rules. Hopefully, it's nothing crazy. If they say no porting, no CL4 cam, no billet rod. If they just go bone stock, just, there's no need for 3 different engine packages in clones. Clones are clones are clones. Let's all just get on the same page. Let's all have the same rule package. That you can split hairs whether or not these performance mods are going to make that big of a difference. I think longevity, the billet rod probably makes the most sense if you're going to be turning it more RPM than you would without it. But you're starting to split hairs there. I just think the verbiage on the NKA side would just kind of make everything meld together. But who am I? I'm not an engine builder. As a matter of fact, I'm barely even a 4-stroke guy. The valves and springs and the pop-ups and lash and all that, just gobbledygook. It's gobbledygook. Give me a 2-stroke. Give me some port timing. Give me some flex length. I love that stuff. All right, guys. Thank you very much for stopping by. Remember that Kart 6T3 is brought to you by TrackTac Tire Treatments. TrackTac Tire Treatments, treatments for tires and tracks. If you have any questions whatsoever on the TrackTac line, anything you're getting into proper anything, shoot me an email, shoot me a messenger, any of that stuff. Get a hold of me, and I will do my best to get you pointed in the right direction. So, it is cold. I can see my breath. I'm holding out as long as I can out here, but it's very nearing me having to do these videos inside for the winter. I'll see you guys next week. Sorry about the live streams. Maybe I'll take it up after the new year. I don't know. Just busy, lots of stuff. It's cold out here. I don't want to sit out here, and I'm not quite set up for the house yet, so I just thought I'd add that in. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video at the latest. Later.